Okay, so today we are heading towards balance and status. That is very IMP topic for exam also. So balance and status, right? So it is used to represent the relationship between the nodes and measure the consistency in an individual's attitude in a node. So that's why we use the balance and status in social media analysis, and it is represented by signed graph. Okay, the relationship between the nodes represented by the sign graph. For example, a positive edge from node v1 to v2 denotes that v1 considered v2's friend, and the negative edge denotes that the v1 and v2 are enemy. For example, a positive edge from the v1 to v3 denotes that they are friends, and v1 to v2 denotes that they are friends, but the negative edge denotes that they are enemy. So positive stands for friend and the negative stands for enemy in simple words. Okay, so in real world scenario we expect some level of consistency with respect to this interaction. Okay, so for measuring the consistency of individuals we need this balance and status theory. Okay, so there are basically two types of theory: social balance theory and social status theory. Okay, so social balance theory, heading towards social balance theory, it is also called as structural balance theory. Okay, and it is having these four relationships, and yeah, these should be satisfied to define the social balance theory. So the friend of my friend is my friend. Okay, the friend of my enemy is my enemy. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, and the enemy of my friend is my enemy. So these are all the real world scenarios that the friend of my should have to be my friend only. The enemy of my friend should have to be enemy only. Okay, these are all are the real world based theory only. So let's understand this based on these all nodes and their relationships. Okay, so the first of all, when the wij, that means the age value between the node I and j and their multiplication, similarly their these three age values multiplication, if it is greater than 0, then the social balance theory is balanced. The theory is balanced, it should have to be greater than 0. Okay, so if the weight between edges or the value of edges between I and j is positive 1, that means it is positive edge, and if it is -1, that means it is negative edge. Okay, so here is the value is 1, here is the value is -1, right? So let's understand these graphs. So the upper ones are all the balanced one and the lower ones are all the unbalanced one. Okay, so a simple trick to understand the balanced and unbalanced, that means the even number of negatives, that means it is balanced one. Even number of or no negative, no negative and even number, here are two, here are two, and odd number of negatives, that means it is unbalanced, minus 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 and minus. Okay, so we'll understand it. Okay, so v1 and v3 are friend, v1 and v2 are also friend, so v3 and v2 should have to be a friend, balanced one. Okay, if v1 and v3 and v1 are friends but v1 and v2 are enemies, so v3 and v2 should have to be enemies, balanced one. Okay, similarly v1 and v3 are enemies and v1 and v2 are friends, so v2 and v3 should have to be enemy. Okay, these are the balanced one because it they are satisfying these all conditions. These are four conditions, that means they are balanced one. Okay, but for the unbalanced one, if v1 and v3 are friends but v1 and v2 are enemy, then v3 and v2 cannot be a friends. So this is a unbalanced one. This is not satisfying that fourth relationship. Okay, so one another one trick to understand this balance and unbalanced, that their multiplication, if they are satisfying the multiplication, okay, that means plus into plus, plus into plus is plus, and plus into plus is plus, that means positive, balanced. Okay, plus minus minus, and minus plus minus minus plus, positive, that means balanced. Minus minus plus 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 plus, that means plus into plus, plus, balanced. Okay, minus into plus, minus, minus into minus, plus, that means balanced one. But here plus into minus, minus, minus into plus, minus, so negative, or unbalanced. Minus into plus, minus, minus into plus, minus, that means unbalanced. So this is the another one thing to remember. Okay, so heading towards the social status theory. Social status theory measures how consistent individuals are in assigning status to their neighbors. Social balance represent the relationship, balance and unbalance, but this measures the consistency. Okay, if X has higher status than Y and Y has higher status than Z, then X should have higher status than Z. Let's understand this using this example. Okay, if V2 has higher status than V1, okay, because this is directed. Okay, so V2 has higher status than V1, V3 has higher status than V2, then V3 should have to be a higher status than V1, but here it is not, here it is minus, that means V3 is having lower status than V1, but it should have to be higher status, V3 should have to be higher status. Okay, so that's why this is an unbalanced or unstable theory, unstable social status theory. Now, if V2 is having lower status than V1 and V3 is also having lower status than V2, then V3 should have to be lower status than V1 only. Okay, if it is my enemy and it is also my enemy, okay, then it should have to be an enemy. That means this is stable one, because negative and negative for enemies here. Okay, but here what it is, V2 is my V1's friend and V3 is V2's friend, but then V3 should have to be V1's friend, no, that means we should have to be here, it should have to be plus here. Okay, but it is minus, that so it is an unstable one, and it is not satisfying the social status theory's definition, right? So that's all for the social status theory.